Welcome back to Real Talk with SJ. I'm Shawnee.
And I'm Juan.
And we are back again. We missed you all a little bit in April, but we are here and ready, and we're back. Oops.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I mean, crazy stuff going on in the month of April. You got the Johnny Depp case. You got Elon Musk buying out Twitter, which to me isn't a big deal because I don't even use Twitter.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
Me too. I don't use Twitter.
I guess if I have something to say, I could just use Facebook.
Yeah, I think if I did use Twitter, I might have a stronger opinion about it. But as a non-user, it's what it is.
Yeah, you're kind of limited to your to what you can put on Twitter anyway. So what's the point? Like you can only put a poem in there or a quote.
Yeah,
it's
true.
pretty much all you can do. It's for poets and writers and people who just haven't like something to say. They want to just blurt it out.
Mm-hmm.
So Twitter's there for you. So people are freaking out. I'm not freaking out. I'm fine. I'm chilling.
Yeah, same. Well, good luck to all of you Twitter users.
Yeah, people are canceling their account, which I'm like, okay, it's a little petty, but okay.
True.
I mean, it's free, so it's not like they're losing your business.
True, yeah.
Unless you were paying, then that would hurt. Right. So, let's get right into this topic. Euphoria.
Yes.
It's still hot. It's still trendy. It's sexy. It's nasty. It's in your face. Very in your face.
A bunch of things all bundled into one, which makes it interesting. So yeah, a lot to dive in here. So we'll start off with our first impressions of just the story overall. So Juan.
Oh boy.
What were your first impressions of like just the overall story?
You know, it's like a train wreck.
Yes.
Like you can't stop looking at it.
Yes.
You can't stop looking at it. Like at first you're like I think the pilot episode where it kind of gives you it just throws you into it. It doesn't give you a brief introduction, just throws you right into the story, what Rue's coming out of rehab and all that. So it like you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
The hell? These are high school. I thought they were college students at first.
Yeah.
That they went to college. So I thought, okay, I guess this is life. And later on, I find out it's high school. So I'm like, what the fuck? Was it like? I don't remember this in high school.
Yeah, definitely don't remember it being at this level, but that was sort of my same first impressions. I didn't think it was high school. I didn't even think of that at first. I thought college as well.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it was the train wreck. Like, I was like, there's so much going on, and everything, every aspect of it, every little story within the story was really intense. So it was hard to stop watching, but at the same time, I really wanted to stop watching.
There's some parts you're like, I can't. This is where I have to stop, but you can't. You want to see what happens after that, and another drama comes up, and
yeah,
is there ever a resolution to this?
Yeah, and that's one thing I would say I think they did really well, was like
they did
kind of enticing the audience to keep going, even if they didn't want to, like myself.
They did, yeah. No, they did a great job with that. If you notice in each episode after the pilot, it's an introduction to each character, how they are, why they are the way they are. So I would say the writers did a bit of research on life trauma. Mm-hmm. It's a tiny bit. Okay, maybe like the high school life isn't as well structured. It would be a well-funded high school if it was.
Yeah.
But like each character was well written out in terms of the drama, how they are the way they are. So it kind of gives you like, oh, okay, yeah, this is kind of possible in real life. Like this could actually happen. These things can actually probably do happen. Yeah. So like it really just gives you that perspective, like, oh, okay, you know, life is pretty messed up. So these characters, the way they are, that makes a lot of sense too. Why they are that way.
Yeah. So also the part of my first impressions was on the cinematography as well. I thought they did a really great job with the cinematography. That's one of the things I didn't love the series as a whole, but one of the things that I did like about it was the cinematography. So I liked how they had different ways that they filmed, different ways they used the camera, different angles and things like that. What about you? What did you think about it?
Yeah, I love the cinematography. I especially love the scene where Rue is just so drugged up that she's walking up walls.
Yeah.
I think I saw, but there was a behind the scenes video, I think on Instagram, where it shows you how they shot that scene, and everything about that was just perfectly well placed, and it had me thinking like, wow, like that. I want to do that. That seems like a pretty cool thing to do. It's a combination of great acting with cinematography that made it a good series, I think. Even if the story's a little sloppy and the nudity is a little bit inappropriate at times. You know, but I think the cinematography made it for it. If you notice, the whole series was based off just dark colors.
Yeah.
You've never noticed, like, you would never see anyone like in some bright colors besides Cassie, because Casey, she's supposed to be, or Cassie, yeah, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
It's Cassie, right? Yeah.
Cassie, yeah.
So she's technically like the innocent, nice, well, not nice, but innocent-ish girl. So she tends to wear the brighter colors, but she tends to be the darkest character in terms of mindset.
Yeah, that was a cool contrast, I think, that they did. And then also like you mentioned how the colors everything was dark. It was like sort of another part of my first impressions was the way they filmed it. It sort of felt like they wanted the audience to feel like you're sort of on an LSD trip.
Yeah. With
the characters. So I think that was really tactical and like a really good use of like cinematography and lights and the soundtrack as well. I thought the soundtrack was really good.
It was good. I liked the soundtrack. I would say how they do a lot of the panning shots, how they followed the characters wherever they were going. There was you ever notice those shots where they're sideways and then they somehow go up to they go over the character's head and they end up showing the full set. Like if it's a bedroom, I think they created an actual bedroom set. So like if the camera goes above the bathroom, you can see the hallway and then the room.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, that's okay, yeah, they that was very well detailed. I like that.
Yeah.
How they put those details in there. And it's not like revolutionary. I'm sure this is done in other films.
Yeah, they definitely got some inspo from, other filmmakers and past films and stuff. But it's still a unique way. I think it's still a unique way that they combined different inspos from like different films and different eras of like filmmaking in general. So I think they put it together uniquely, even though, I don't think they were necessarily unique techniques.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, okay, so let's go into characters now. Which one was your favorite? I know you're not keen of the series, but which one was your favorite character?
My favorite of everyone would probably be, and we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, and you mentioned that your favorite was, and I think mine's the same, so I would probably say Fezco.
Yeah. Fezco, yeah. Very chill guy. Unfortunately, drama meets him. He doesn't meet drama.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the best character, he's a drug dealer. He grew up in that sort of lifestyle, so we're a product of our environment a lot of times. So he's not the best like person overall, but I mean, I feel like he's the most real character sort of, and with the least amount of tarnish sort of to his character a little bit.
Yeah, he did. I mean, yeah, like you said, he was put in that situation. If you see the intro episode of how his life was, which I wish could have been done earlier, because it was very late in there.
That's true, yeah. And it was like the second season, I believe.
Not until the second season when you finally saw that. But I get it. They can only squeeze in so many episodes in one season, so I get that. I think the timeline was just perfect for like everything connected together that way. So Fezco, his younger brother, you get to see the story of how his younger brother became his younger brother.
Yeah.
They found some kid. They just
found him on the street and took him in.
Took the baby. And but it's cool that the Fezco took that, like he took him in as his own brother, watched over him. But Ash, oh my gosh, this character Ash, Jesus,
he's interesting.
He's like kill first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
like the first he hammered what's his face, that one drug dealer, and then he stabbed that fool. And, oh gosh.
I feel like him, like Ash and Fezco, are kind of like a juxtaposition of like the two ways you can turn out from being in a situation like that,
Yeah.
like growing up in that lifestyle. And Fezco, he's more of the like calmer, more logical. He doesn't do things unnecessarily. You know, he does what he has to, kind of thing. And then whereas Ash is like over the top, he's gonna go for the worst possible option and not really think things through. So
yeah, and if you were to compare the first two seasons, the first one, Ash gets some lines in there. He actually gets to sound like he's a kid. He's talking, he's interacting with the characters. But what I didn't like was how in the second season he had no words. If you notice it, he had no lines. All he did was just this, like his face expressions of just like blank stare, angry face, and all that connected in there.
Yeah. So, sort a little bit on that topic. So, we talked about our favorite character. Who be your least favorite character?
Least favorite character would have to be Nate.
Okay.
Nate.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Like he's the kid that you just like, you want justice to be served, but he just doesn't seem, you know, he gets away with everything. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Even his own father, like I thought Nate would have been a redeemed character. And that's the only reason why I hate him the most, just because I thought he would have been redeemed somehow. Because he wasn't a bad person. All he had to do was say, I'm gay, and then call it a night. Thank you. All the pressure's gone. He's opened up. Now he's a happy person.
Yeah.
But because you know, the minute his father left the household, I thought, okay, this is where Nate's going to begin to reflect a little bit more. He's going to want to be a better person, and he ended up being worse.
Yeah. I don't know if there's redemption for him. Maybe later in the seasons, but yeah, he's pretty bad. I think he's probably my second least favorite character, and my first would probably be Root.
Oh. She's my second.
Yeah, I really hate Root because it's just I just feel like she's such a selfish character. And if you think about like her storyline, how they developed it and everything, it's like, yes, she went through some things, she dealt with tragedy, but at the same time, so did the rest of her family, you know?
Yes.
And she doesn't consider the fact that the rest of her family is also grieving, also dealing with their loss, and now they have to deal with her and everything that she's doing as well. And also, I thought it was funny how when she's like yelling and she's having those big arguments with her mom and her sister and everything, and a lot of times she says like, oh, I don't care if I die, like, you know, she pretty much mentions that she doesn't care if she dies multiple times.
Yeah.
But then in that one scene, which I think was toward the end of the second season, when she's like running away from her mom and she's like running through the streets and hopping over like people's houses and stuff, and when she's about to run into the street, into traffic, she says, please God, don't let me die.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think her character, like one of the biggest things I didn't like was she had a solid support system, and she was throwing it all away.
Yeah, exactly. She had, and there's like people out there who are going through that type of thing alone. You know, they don't have a support system and people who want them to get better and want to help them. But she has all that, you know?
Yeah.
She doesn't care. But,
Yeah, she has that. And Ali, which I think was a great role model for her. Yeah, I like this character too. Like he
yeah, actually, he might be my favorite character.
Actually, I'm thinking about.
I forgot about it.
Let me change it.
Fezco will be second. I like.
Yeah,
Ali.
he's a second, just because he's cool. But Ali would be my first, just because he doesn't give up on her, and but he's also human. You know, there's a moment where Rue uses his personal life against him.
Yeah.
You know, she's got the luggage full of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she became a boss lady now. She's selling drugs. Supposedly, she's about to sell all these meds.
Yeah.
But Ali, you know, he's very involved. If you notice, he's very observant to what's going on in Rue's life.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not just some
He cares.
mentor. He keeps like he knows what she's going through. He knows what she's probably gonna end up doing. And I do like the season 2 how they rekindle that relationship, and how how Ali's character might be a bigger role model in her life for the next season,
Yeah.
as she's
hopefully.
going to that step of recovery.
Yeah. Hopefully, because I think that's what her character really needs. Because it's really when, like, when shows create characters and they're developing, like, I think Rue's sort of the protagonist and antagonist at times. But when they're developing, the antagonist and they're making the character bad, I think the goal is to kind of keep some good in them so the audience can still find something to sort of relate to, even if they're a bad character,
Mm-hmm.
But with Ruse, it's just like there is, I guess, like some element, but it's like it's really, really small. The element of like, oh, I can still relate to her, I still empathize with her, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah, exactly. That second season does save her a little bit. Okay, the one scene where she's in the church, and she hugs her father, and the singing, the music was what tied that scene together. And I'm like, dude, I mean, I guess for me they did overdo it a little bit on that part. I'm like, oh, they're just using up time. Come on, give me something I want to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, this scene, but some scenes with the music prolonged a little bit. But the music was good, but did prolong a little bit for me.
Yeah.
Which is what made me like, okay, I get it. Rue's in her high state. Do something else.
Yeah, definitely.
And what do you think of the character development for Kat?
Kat was the character for sure.
Yeah.
I think Kat makes me angry. I'll just start by saying that. Because when she, they started out her storyline and she was sort of coming to terms with her identity, I think, sort of, or at least trying to. And then she made the decision to kind of tap into her bad side, whatever, when she started all her cam girl stuff. And
she's just child pornography because she's still a kid, technically, in the
Yeah.
series.
yeah, I think
And
people forget that.
Cam girls. And I'm like, so we're just going to skip right through that.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so when she went to do that, I felt like that was like really over the top and unnecessary, but it's what her character did, so whatever.
Exactly.
But then later down the line, when she starts dating Ethan, who's like this really good guy, and someone who actually like loved her, genuinely cared about her, which is, I think, one of the reasons that she started doing that whole cam girl thing, whatever, in the first place, because she didn't feel like people loved her and she was kind of seeking that in the wrong place. But when she finally had that, she pissed it away,
It made no sense to me.
Yeah.
No sense. Like, they had something healthy, a support system for one another. If you think about it, if she wouldn't have broken up with him for some... Actually, she made him break up with her at the restaurant.
Yeah.
You saw that she was such a coward. She couldn't even pull the trigger at the restaurant. And he just pissed. He just made him mad, and he was just like really sad. But I felt bad for him at that scene. I'm like, oh, poor guy. He needs to find someone better. But yeah, you've probably seen it. So during the play, when he's like the lead role almost. Well, this whole thing, I'm like, oh, his life is gonna be better moving forward.
Yeah,
he'll do just fine. And Kat, I don't know what the show doesn't. What I didn't like about season 2 is that it didn't give us like an insight of what's Kat doing in season 2.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, did she go back to that? And if she went back to that, how did that transition affect her from a healthy relationship back to something unhealthy? It's got to take a toll on her in some way. It's not just, oh, I'm back in this, yay.
Yeah, I'm assuming like in the next season, she probably will realize like that she's being an idiot, basically.
Yeah.
And we'll probably try to get Ethan back. But I want better for Ethan, and
Yes, he
especially
deserves.
yeah, especially the way she did it. That's like the worst way to break up with someone, in my opinion. Like, don't try to flip it and make them break up with you. You know,
Yeah.
like just have the balls to do it if you're gonna do it.
Could have
So,
been worse. She could have just texted him.
that's bad too.
Or through webcam.
Or through webcam.
Show him her like colors.
Show him what she does.
This is why I want to break up with you. Oh man, and props to Rue's mom, who pressed on the fight until she just. I don't know if you saw it in season 2. She just tells Rue, "I'm done. If you want to kill yourself, kill yourself. I'm not about to lose 2 kids. If I had to make a sacrifice, I'd rather just lose 1."
Mhm.
Like, ooh, that's deep, and I think that does happen in those kind of situations.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that was obviously, it was probably one of the most difficult things that her character had to do, but I do think it was like sort of the best decision. I mean, all the time that she spent, you know, trying to help Rue and all this stuff, and it put her through a lot of stuff emotionally and physically, but the sister too.
Yeah.
And the sister was still like dealing with the same grief that Rue was as well, and then, you know, coupling that on top of it, it's like, if anything, she's definitely going to need a lot of therapy.
Yeah. A lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Now, I know we can't go through. Well, I'm trying to think about it. So Lexi is just kind of an observer of everything. Like, kind of in the shadows. Like, if you noticed it, she was always in the shadows. Season 1, she was just the girl that pisses in the bottle for Rue.
Yeah.
But she's a concerned friend, but also not very engaged with the drama that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
She's just there. And in season 2, she somehow comes up with a play that shows everything. And I mean everything. Because that play confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
Yeah, and I'm like, hold on a second. She wasn't there for this. How did she know Kat was doing webcamming?
Yeah.
Unless they're best friends. But even best friends, I don't think would even talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not going to tell your best friend, hey, I'm doing this. And then if she did, how would she know where she was doing it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the play, showing her doing all that. And then what was interesting is, like, Kat had no reaction when she saw that in the play. You didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you're telling me Kat's just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you would think they were protecting identities in this play. But at the end of it, it just shows a picture of actually them.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I think Lexi's mom took a picture of a group photo during Rue's father's funeral, which I thought was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it was weird.
But yeah, the play was icing on the cake for me. Probably one of my most loved and least most hated scene all in one. Like the part where Cassie goes up and starts a drama, starts fighting. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much the whole show. It's a fucking shit show. It's all over the place, and I think about it. I think it's like an art thing, because technically it's a high school play. The audience are adults. I don't think you see any children in there, and they're all watching this play. They're enjoying this play. So I think in an artistic way, we are that audience, and we are enjoying this chaos that is unfolding before us. Like, I think the play itself is like, yeah, it's a play, but I think it shouldn't be taken so literally, because a high school play with that kind of content just won't fly for very long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're telling me there's not one parent in there that was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that's one aspect of it that I just felt was unrealistic, because I was like, everyone was just way too calm watching it, you know, except for obviously like Nate and Maddie when they
stormed out.
Yeah, but
stormed right up. And when Maddie, you know, kicked her ass, I was kind of rooting for Maddie on that one. Get that bitch. Get her. Oh, Casey's such a dumbass. And, you know, and the way Nate won her over, it wasn't even like he bought her flowers or took her to dinner or anything. No, he just drove her in her car really, really fast, and she took off her panties. Like, what the fuck? What was that about? When like he offered her a ride to the party, but he's going 102 miles per hour. She decides it's okay to just take off her panties.
Yeah,
I was-
that was
oh.
erotic to her, I guess.
Like, yeah, let's die together. Unless she had a small crush on him, but throughout the whole show, nothing.
I think she did.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It did show that a little bit,
Yeah.
just tiny bit. But but it was at the ending though. I wish it would have done that from the beginning. Give us more hints.
Yeah, well, I think
yeah.
I think they purposely didn't because they probably wanted it to be a big like a bomb drop, like you didn't see it coming type of thing.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, I think she probably always had, like a crush on him. And yeah.
Crush on him, and I think just one more thing that just, I mean, most of it was fine. The part where Rue was running away from everybody, right? 'Cause she was just so coked up, drugged up, or whatever, and she knew that she owed that. What was that drug dealer's name? That lady. That Marcia. There you go, Marcia lady. When she owed her money, she ran to Lexi's house. And the scene where on the stairs, when she's by the staircase and everyone's like, all her friends are like concerned about her. And then and Cassie's like, oh, you don't have to give up drugs right away, just one bit at a time. And everyone's like, yeah. So it was like this heart feeling warm. It was just a warm moment. And then Rue's like, so Cassie, how long have you been fucking Nate? And then this shitstorm. But the part is, if you relive that scene, she's on the bicycle, right? She sees Cassie running to the truck, but she doesn't see him kiss, because she's already way out of view to see that part.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, she probably made that up in her moment of just defense, like, don't bother me. She just made that part up, and it just happened to be real.
Yeah. And also she had enough, like, probably observed enough hints to make that assumption, because remember how Cassie had started acting so different and she started dressing like Maddie and all these types of things. So she probably, put those two and two together and was like, oh yeah, she's fucking him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, all that in it together. I'm just a little bit about the actors themselves. Angus Cloud.
Angus Beef.
Who plays Fresco. He was a Waffle House. I think he was a bus boy about 4 years ago. It was a video that surfaced on social media. It became pretty popular, I think about a month ago, back in March. And it just shows him bussing tables. He was just picking up the plates after everyone was done eating. And it's amazing how your life can change in 4 years. He was...
Yeah.
And it was at a Waffle House, of all places. Not a Denny's. Could have been fancier. Denny's a little fancier than Waffle House. Yeah. But, yeah, a little fancier. But no, yeah, he was grinding out. He was working his butt off to be where he is now. So,
yeah, it goes to show, if you have a dream and you stick to it, no matter where you are, you can be there in a couple years.
Yeah. Yeah. If washing dishes, wash them with pride if you have a goal in mind.
Yeah, just keep washing them.
Keep washing. Use soap. Lots of soap.
And pursuing your dream.
Yes.
At the same time, simultaneously.
Yes, exactly. Eat your vegetables too. Yeah, and I think one of the final pieces of it, the play prolongs more than a day. You think it's only one night play. It's like pretty long. Or maybe I'm just overthinking this part, but in the end, there's a part where Nate and Cassie leave the play. It's still nighttime. And then Nate goes out to confront his father in the warehouse or the construction site, and it's at nighttime. But when Rue leaves the play, right, she didn't say anything to Jules. She just walk. I don't know. She goes off her own way. Rue leaves the school, and it's daytime. And that part makes you think, okay, so this play went longer than a day. So I guess that's probably how the writers wanted it. I don't know. It's like I want to analyze it as much as I can.
Like, imagine they didn't even think about that part, and it was a mistake, kind of.
Yeah, and everyone's like, it's art. Think about it. Think about it. She's leaving from the darkness into the light.
funny. That's like the cool thing about films, though, right? It's like
Yeah.
your audience like can interpret things any way that they want, and if it's kind of like whatever makes them feel happy and makes them feel good about the piece. Sure. Like, yeah, that's what we meant.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think the last character I really want to talk about is Cal, because he was the villain of the whole thing. Like, if you think about it, if he was a better parent, maybe Nate would be a better person.
For sure.
But because of his battle with his sexuality, like, that built up a lot of frustration and anger within him.
Yeah, I think it was really cool and very necessary how they went back and kind of explored his story, Cal's story. And I think the way they filmed it and put it all together was really nice to watch. And then once you realize that he sort of, I don't know, at the moment when he finally, started living as his true self, and like I think he kissed that guy for the first time, and he went home and he was so happy and so excited that he was finally gonna start being able to like basically live in his truth, and then he gets the call from the girl that she's pregnant, and I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, that part was mind-blowing, because he could have escaped with his boyfriend and go wherever he was going and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
But because he's with this kid, he felt tied to it. If you notice if you go to the current time of the episode, he goes back to the same bar.
Yeah.
And he goes back and he tries to relive a little bit of his youth, of being with his was his man crush Monday, or his crush, or the love of his life.
Man crush every day.
he's hoping that I'm guessing he probably visited frequently in hopes that his friend would come back.
Yeah, I think that, and I think also to like revisit the place where he sort of, I think he was in love with him. So I think revisit the place where he sort of fell in love, because sometimes, when you revisit places where like big things emotionally happen to you, then you feel those sensations again, like when you revisit that place. So I think to feel that again, just to really feel that again, was another reason that he went back, I think.
Yeah, it made him feel happy, for that moment. Even though he was drunk, but he did feel happy for that moment. And then like he kind of comes to the realization that the person he's holding, because remember, like both friends in the beginning of the episode, they were slow dancing together. So Cal's slow dancing with his friend, but then when he's much older, he does the same thing and he's holding someone, but of course it ends up not being his friend.
Yeah,
ends up being some stranger. And then he gets too drunk, he gets kicked out of the bar, and then he's banned. And I think when he's banned from that bar, that's when like something inside him snaps that just makes him, you know what, I'm gonna go in a self-destructive mode. From that point he went back home and he just laid it all on the table, told his wife everything, and just left.
Yeah, I think that was a really pivotal moment for his character, because I think the whole time that he's been like living his life, obviously he hasn't been happy. It's not who he is, and that's why he's been such a bad person. And then he went back there and he tried to reignite the happiness that he had once before, and he did for a moment, and then he realized that he snapped back into reality and realized that he could never have that again. So yeah,
right on with that. Now, expectations for season 3. I mean, I'm probably gonna watch it. I don't know about you. It's supposed to come out in 2024. They're not sure what day yet, but it's already confirmed. They got all the juice ready to go, all the nudity you can handle. But we'll have to see what happens with season 3. My expectation for this, though, is that Cal's gonna come back. He's gonna come out of prison, because let's be real, he's not gonna be in prison for a long time. He's not gonna be in prison for a long time, so he'll come back, and I think in a way he'll try to um, get his son to confess
Mm.
to his true feelings.
Oh, that's a good prediction. That would be good.
Yeah. And I think Ali will be like I said, a good mentor for Rue.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rue will be sober in season 3, and I think her challenge is gonna be being sober for season 3.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really have too much hope for Rue's character. I mean, I would hope that she would have some sort of progression and eventually would, get her shit together. But I just don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her spiraling on, a new drug in the next season. But I don't really plan to watch it, to be honest. But if it's a topic, if this is a popular topic for us and we want to discuss it again, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many characters. I mean, Yeah, there's a lot of
It's
shit
almost
going
too
on.
many stories to keep up
Too
with.
many stories to keep up with, and to put in a podcast, it would take like 3 episodes easily.
Yeah, we
Like,
definitely would have to.
Easily,
break
like
it.
just whoop all those. But yeah, I mean, cinematography was great. Give it a 7 out of 10.
Me too.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. No, I'm not gonna be too generous or like too mean. I will say, yeah, it was addictive. It was addictive to watch, and I guess I wouldn't say it inspired me.
Yeah.
But it made me think. Okay, high school life is over dramatized on TV.
Yeah.
Speaking of drama, the next episode probably will be the most interesting one. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard are in court right now. They're just going back and forth, and things are just taking off. The lawyers are throwing swings at each other, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, it's a really interesting case because I didn't plan to even, tune into it, but I find myself watching clips of it pretty much every day. So it's very interesting. We both have lots of opinions on it, so
Yeah,
it's going to be an interesting conversation. This will probably be a bit of a longer episode for our next one for this topic. So make sure you bring your snacks to the next episode.
Yeah. And with that, we will conclude this one. But if you haven't seen Euphoria, definitely check it out. Or you probably, because we didn't spoil too much anyway. So I didn't want to take too much details. I figured we'll let people decide if they want to see it or not. But either way, we didn't want to spoil it too much.
Yeah. And with that, if you haven't been watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, we encourage you to watch some clips. There's lots of clips on YouTube that are just small clips put together, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can just get the main points. So you are with us when we discuss it next week.
Yeah, and with that, signing off. This is Real Talk with SJ. My name is Juan.
My name is Shani, and as always, thanks for tuning in with us. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at _RealTalkSJ.
Yes, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you already have not. And until then, see you then. It's the same thing. See you then. But yeah, later.
Later.